Hi everyone, my name is Willow Rose Moon Dancer. I make videos here on YouTube about Wicca, and I also have a blog called Wiccans-Aren't-Wicked.com. For the last couple weeks we have been talking about our various chakras, and today I thought I would talk about Reiki a little bit more since it gets mentioned in each one of those chakra videos. So I personally have Holy Fire 1 and 2 placements when it comes to Reiki. So I do have first-hand experience about this entire topic. So first we're going to talk about how Reiki works. So essentially, the Reiki is an energy that exists beyond this world. It exists beyond time and distance. And when attuned, you can channel this energy through your hands. And when you channel this energy, you are giving it to yourself or to others. So what is the purpose of Reiki? The purpose of Reiki is to heal yourself spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. You use it to balance and align your chakras. You can also use this to help heal other body parts and organs. So, for example, I get a lot of infections, specifically urinary tract infections. And so instead of going to the clinic every time, because I don't have a family doctor in the province that I live in, I just do Reiki on it. I get them often enough that I'm very familiar with the various symptoms, and whenever I do end up going to the doctor, they always just confirm that that is indeed my issue. So I have just started doing Reiki on my body, and I can be healed of my infection by like the end of the week, sometimes even sooner than that. My father also suffers with lymph node infections, and he also is trained in Holy Fire 1 and 2, and there's another Reiki that he's trained in for a couple of placements, and so he does self-Reiki to help heal those as well instead of going to the doctor, and it helps him as well. So Reiki can also enhance other natural healing. It fosters peacefulness. It helps calm the mind. It brings a more positive outlook. It releases tight muscles. It eases tension and stress. It promotes pain relief. It balances the body's energies. It strengthens spiritual connections. And it adapts your to your individual needs. So I also have a friend who suffers from a lot of body pain, and I have used Reiki to help loosen some of those muscles that she struggles with, and she has told me that it helps as well. So what does Reiki feel like? So it differs from person to person. I have done Reiki on my boyfriend. He does not necessarily believe in it, so I think that also affects how he feels it, but he doesn't really feel anything other than more relaxed, because I usually also give him a massage while I do it. Some people, like myself, I get a tingly sensation wherever the energy Reiki is doing its work. And it's quite interesting because sometimes certain chakras are easier to heal than other, and some are totally blocked, and if you have an appointment, it's just not feasible for your Reiki practitioner to be able to open up that chakra in one sitting. And you can feel the difference. So when I've had someone work on chakras that are not as challenging to open, I can feel the tingling and everything. But then when they get to a chakra that is harder to open, which they'll tell me later on after the appointment's over, I can't feel the tingling, or at least not nearly as much, because of the block. And some people have visions, they hear voices. I know that when I have been giving long distance Reiki to a friend, I just kept hearing, let it go, let it go, let it go. And it just kept popping into my head. And so I told her that, and it made sense to her. I know one person who has literally, like, their body has, like, not completely risen, but like their back just arches and it feels and looks like they're going to rise off of the table. Different parts of the universal energy source can also come in and visit you at this time. I know one person who gets visited by dragons. I know multiple people who get visited by angels. For me, I don't think I have been visited by anybody before, or any part of the universal energy source. It is quite common to, if you're going to be visited by anybody, to be visited by an angel. I, however, don't know how I feel about angels. Lately, I have been leaning more to that they may exist, but I don't really understand how that connects to the rest of my beliefs, if that makes sense. So I think if someone were to visit me, it would be in a different form than an angel. It doesn't always have to be that way. And then we're going to talk about, how does long distance Reiki work? Because I know before I got trained in Reiki and before I really did Reiki, I was really put off by the idea that someone was claiming that long distance Reiki could work. It sounded like a scam to me, quite honestly. And then my dad, who had already had previous training in Reiki, I got him to explain to me how he views distance Reiki as working. So essentially, picture all of these souls connected to a cord, and this cord extends past our own world into a place where distance and time don't exist. So kind of like a different dimension, if you will. The energy that you are sending out travels to the start of the cord, where there is no time or distance. And then that energy travels through the cord and heals the soul it was sent out to heal. And so because this cord, if you will, exists in a place where there's no distance and no time, you can do Reiki long distance. You can do Reiki for the past you, or for a past person. And you can also do Reiki for future you, or for a future client. And then the next common question is, do you need to take a class? So there's various beliefs on how you can learn Reiki. So some people believe that you can learn it yourself through books or through like online courses. Most people, however, believe that you have to be taught by a teacher in person. There are various ignitions and placements that you have to complete to be in order to be able to do Reiki. And there's also secret symbols that you are taught by a teacher. It gets passed down from teacher to student. You can find these symbols also online. However, if you are not attuned to these symbols, they will not work. But regardless of whether you believe you can learn on your own, or whether you can, or you have to be taught by a teacher, the overall message is you have to be taught, either self-taught or teacher-taught. It doesn't matter. One of those things have to occur. You cannot just randomly be able to do Reiki. Okay, and so next are just some miscellaneous fun facts, I guess, about Reiki. So the first one is Reiki can never cause harm. So Reiki is only about healing. You can also potentially heal someone without asking their direct permission. So say you have a child who is unable to talk yet. but you want to do Reiki on them because maybe they've been having nightmares at night, or maybe, I don't know, you just want to help them fall asleep. Maybe they've been crying for hours. You can ask their soul for permission instead of asking them directly. If their soul says yes, then you can give them Reiki. And if your soul says no, any Reiki that you try to give them simply will not be given to them. And so you can do that with anybody, really. If there's someone at the grocery store that's just screaming to your mind, I need Reiki, you can ask their soul and try and give them Reiki. And if their soul says yes, they'll receive it. And if their soul says no, they won't. Simple. Reiki also has no religion. So I think a common conception that's happening lately is that Reiki is directly associated with paganism, which isn't necessarily true. Just think about Jesus, like the real Jesus, the healer, not the Jesus that Christians refer to as in the Son of God, just the regular man. He was a healer. That's why he's thought to have powers from God, because he was doing Reiki. Even though it wasn't necessarily invented, it didn't have a name yet, that's what he was doing in his own way. He was healing with his hands. So it doesn't just have to do with paganism. You could do it if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're atheist. You could do it if you're Buddhist, if you're a Hinduist. It really doesn't matter. And then you have to remember that your intention is everything. So say you want to use one of those secret symbols I talked about earlier, but you can't remember every single part of the symbol, but you get the general gist of it. It's fine. It's going to work. Maybe you don't know exactly where the healing needs to take place. You kind of think maybe you need to heal the throat chakra, but in reality, you should actually maybe be healing the sacral chakra. Even if your hands are up at the throat chakra, the Reiki energy knows where it needs to go. So maybe it won't be given as efficiently, but it'll still get the job done. Then you need to remember the closing routine of doing Reiki. So you always have to close the person's energies and let go of the Reiki energy. This is very similar to when you are done using a sacred circle, or if you use a Ouija board. You need to close out so negative energies can't feed off of what you have left open. So when you're done, you align the chakras, you remove any psychic waste that was released into the air, and then you thank the Reiki energy for helping and you release it. If you do not do these things, you are keeping the person that you just did Reiki on opened up to any of the negative energies that were lurking around, just waiting to feed on that brand new positive energy that you just gave them. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is, after you get Reiki done to you, whether by yourself or by another practitioner, you need to drink a lot of water. It's very similar to getting massage. If you get a professional massage done, they will always tell you to make sure you stay hydrated. You also can expect to have a very deep sleep. Having Reiki done is very relaxing, but it takes a lot of energy. So you're being given a lot of energy, and they're also stripping away all of the negative energy that was attached to you. And that takes a lot of work on a body. So you're going to sleep really well. And you should also be prepared to possibly have some vivid dreams, because maybe you didn't have any visions at the time that you were receiving the Reiki, but maybe the messages are going to be coming later. But that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check out my blog, wiccansaren'twicked.com. I make posts every Wednesday and Friday, and make sure you subscribe to me here because I make videos every Monday and Thursday. And until next time, blessed be.